neighboring countries as the first visit, but the Prime Minister putting a stamp on that 7-decade-old relationship between India and Russia. First, take a look at this detailed report, and then we begin our special broadcast with Russia Today.
Moscow is gearing up to welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is the first Indian Prime Minister's visit to Russia since 2015. Prime Minister Narendra Modi landed in Moscow minutes ago and will attend a dinner hosted by President Vladimir Putin later today.
We've made it very clear that the Prime Minister in his third term has chosen Russia for his first bilateral visit, which really puts down the importance that he has given to the India-Russia ties. We know that this came as a surprise to many Western countries after the sanctions that had been put on Russia. But the Prime Minister very, very clear, and the Indian government very clear, that it wants to tread the path of very clearly strategic autonomy that India has been following, and it will do so in the future as well.
PM Modi will also take part in the 22nd Annual India-Russia Summit, which will begin tomorrow. PM Modi will also address the Indian Diaspora in Moscow tomorrow morning. Republic also spoke to the members of the Indian Diaspora who are eagerly awaiting Prime Minister's address.
I am joined by a group of Indian students here in Russia who are going to be performing for the Prime Minister Narendra Modi once he lands here. So let me speak to a few. How many days have you been preparing for this performance?
Well, to be honest, we've only been preparing for like 4 days roughly, but we've been waiting for quite a while now.
You guys are experts. You don't need much practice.
We try to make it our best, the best we can do.
So is there, when I just heard you all boys and girls saying Bharat Mata Ki Jai, if you can just sway it for our camera, it'll be wonderful.
Bharat Mata Ki
Jai!
It's not just Indians. The locals in Moscow are also gearing up for the 22nd Annual India-Russia Summit.
Where are you from in Russia?
We're from Moscow, but in our team have got girls from all over Russia. We're so happy that Prime Minister is coming here and that relations between India and Russia becoming more strong. It really makes inspiration in all fields, not only culture, which we like, but also in economy, in travel, everything.
Beautiful. And where are you also from Moscow?
Yeah, Jiha.
Oh, do you love wearing this jewelry, the dresses, the Indian dresses? How do you find them?
Yes, this is the main point why I adore Indians so much.
All eyes are on Moscow as two of the biggest leaders re-elected to power are all set to meet in what promises to be a momentous occasion to further enhance the historic ties between India and Russia.
Well, the sheer number of times that both the leaders have met in the past is a clear indication of how both the leaders view this entire relationship. 16 times that the Prime Minister has met President Putin, and as far as bilateral talks and various annual summits are concerned, 21 times India and Russia have come together. But things have actually changed. Post the Ukraine war, in fact, India taking a neutral position, and the very fact that in the last few months itself, Moscow inching closer to Beijing. What does that essentially mean? Keeping in mind that there has been a heavy reliance on defense cooperation that India has had with Russia. But as Sucharita, things have been changing. Over the last 25 years, we have seen how India too is moving away from Russia towards United States of America when it comes to their defense understanding. But today, with the Prime Minister's visit, many would say that perhaps India would be playing a pivotal role in diffusing the ongoing conflict. What's the mood like? What's on the agenda?
Shravan, it is very, very clear. It is very, very clear. I'm getting some audio that if it could be corrected. It's very clear that there is a mood, there is a thinking that the Indian Prime Minister can diffuse tensions between Ukraine and Russia. Now there is an affirmation when it comes to President Putin when you saw his remark on the Donald Trump comment. Now he very clearly wants this conflict to be ending, but there is required a mediation. Can Narendra Modi play that role of that mediation? Can Narendra Modi be the leader who can mediate between Ukraine and Russia? Now, we'll have to go back to the G20 summit. There was a lot of pressure by the G20 states to invite Ukraine to the G20 meet, which was in India. But since President Putin wasn't coming to the G20, Ukraine wasn't there. Now, this is a balancing act that India has been doing. Now, in the presence of President Putin on the sidelines of the SCO meeting, when Narendra Modi had met Vladimir Putin, he had very clearly spoken in his presence that war is not a solution. So, very clearly, Russia knows the stand that India has vis-a-vis war. Russia knows the stand that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has vis-a-vis dialogue between countries to de-escalate any situation. And the Indian administration has been doing that, be it the Israel-Palestine situation or the Ukraine-Russia war, that is the military conflict that they call it here, has been ongoing. And now the Prime Minister is here. There has been a political attack back home on Narendra Modi, saying that he should be speaking about peace when he comes here. But it is not just a political attack. Many believe that if there is an individual or there is a country that can play a pivotal role in the Ukraine-Russia conflict, it is India and it is Narendra Modi. Shavan.
Well, Sucharita, I'll request you to stay on with us. We'll also try and go across to our colleagues in Russia today in a short while from now. But before that, let me take all our viewers of This Is Exclusive through the details of what's really on the agenda. Because remember, as far as this trade talks that are likely to take place and several other issues, I'll just quickly take you through a snapshot of what we know so far in terms of the bilateral talk that's going to take place. Now, New Delhi-Moscow trade talks. I'll stay with this and just put this into perspective. Now, as far as the trade target is concerned, that was set at about $30 billion till about 2025. That has already crossed. In the financial year between 2023 and 2024, it has crossed the 60 billion mark. That in itself shows where it stands today. Let's take you through the other big agenda as far as Prime Minister Modi and Putin's meeting is concerned. It's also about pharma exports. Now remember, the trade balance was in fact heavily towards Russia, with India basically importing roughly about $60 billion in terms of oil and various other items. But that, remember, is also now changing, with India positioning itself as far as pharma exports are concerned. So that's going to be another key issue. Now, this is perhaps the most sticking point, the bone of contention, because this is something that has irked India. The very fact that you've had at least 40 Indians who have been taken to Russia. In fact, they were misled and finally landed up taking up the war in Ukraine. They were fighting on behalf of the Russian forces. In fact, you've had the Ministry of External Affairs saying that all efforts are now being made to bring back the Indians safely. This too perhaps could figure in the agenda. Apart from that, of course, the focus is also about defense cooperation. Let's not forget that India and Russia have already signed multiple agreements, starting with that S-400 missile, and the fact that you've also had understanding with regards to Su-30 and a few other items too. And let's not forget about the licensed production that has also taken place between India and Russia as far as the T-90 tanks are concerned. I'll go back to Sucharita. She's tracking the visit of the Prime Minister very closely. Sucharita, the other focus essentially being as to how exactly is the West really viewing. In fact, it's very uncharacteristic when you've had a nation actually putting out a statement. In fact, the Kremlin went on to say that the West perhaps is looking at this entire visit of the Prime Minister from the eye of jealousy. And very bizarre statements have actually come in from some leaders, but some do say that it's in the interest of India.
Now, Shavan, it is very important to understand what India means to the geopolitical setting. Russia, what you I'm just reiterating what you said right now, has said that the Western powers in America are jealous of this meeting between Putin and Modi. So this very clearly shows that Russia is viewing this meeting as a very, very significant and important one, and it knows that the Western world is watching as Indian Prime Minister comes to Moscow. Then the Americans saying that they completely trust India in the decisions it's going to take. Now, the Americans are constantly being asked about the Modi-Putin meeting. They know that they have an ally in India, but they know that the Indians also and the Indian administration is also holding hands with Russia. But the Americans very clearly saying that they trust the Indian administration. Now that is also a kind of signaling at this time when the two leaders are meeting. Now the Chinese issuing a statement saying that India is just treading the American path. Now, when I say the Chinese, I'm only speaking about Global Times. That is very clearly saying that Indians are only treading the American path. Now, what does that show? It shows that India is at the center of every statement that's been given out. So India is at the center of this geopolitical turn that is happening. And the Indian leader and the Indian administration being lured by each and every country. We know that right now, where the Prime Minister is at the Carlton, I'm present at that very spot. He's just reached and he's going to be soon heading for that private dinner with Putin. Now, a lot of talks, a lot of agendas which are not formalized happen at these private dinners. So, very important meeting between the two state heads tonight, and then there will be the bilaterals. So, for sure, the Western world, the Americans, the Chinese eyeing this particular meeting. And when I say this with full confidence that India is the power to watch out for, and that the nations of the world understand. And that is precisely why each and every country has been issuing statements vis-a-vis the Indian Prime Minister's visit to Russia and his meeting Putin. Even Russia understands the importance of the Indian hand reaching out to it at a time when most have completely put out restrictions and have put Russia at bay. India is still reaching out to Russia, and that means a lot for this Russian administration.
Well, thank you very much, Sucharita, for joining us on this broadcast. I'll request you to stay on with us as we take our viewers through more details that are emerging right now. But let's also take you through what's the reaction really coming in from the Indian diaspora. Typical to what we have seen with every visit of the Prime Minister, it's also seen that same kind of excitement really coming in from the Indian diaspora. A short while back, you've also had the Prime Minister putting out a tweet where he says that it's a memorable welcome in Moscow. We've seen those images coming in of the diaspora coming together and greeting the Prime Minister. A while back, we've also spoken to the diaspora there. How exactly are they really viewing this visit of the Prime Minister? Let's not forget the Prime Minister in the past too has also reflected on the fact that the relationship between India and Russia has deepened also because of the people-to-people ties.
हमारे साथ इस वक्त इंडिया ओवरसीज रशिया में बीजेपी के अध्यक्ष सैमी कोटवानी जी हैं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हमें समय देने के लिए कोटवानी जी। और मुझे बताइए कि आज प्रधानमंत्री भारत के रूस पहुंच रहे हैं, मॉस्को पहुंच रहे हैं। इस दौरे का महत्व क्या है आप लोगों के लिए, खासकर जो यहाँ भारतीय रूस के हैं?
देखिए, हमारे लिए तो बहुत बड़ी बात हो गई है कि प्रधानमंत्री ने इसे पहली जगह चुनी है तीसरे बार आने के बाद, क्योंकि है ना, ये हम नेक्स्ट 5 साल तक हम चिल्लाते रहेंगे। और ये जो सच्चाई है कि पीएम हमारे पास आए थे, रशियंस के लिए तो और बड़ी बात है, क्योंकि वो हमेशा सोचते थे कि सबसे जिम्मेदार भागीदार हमारा हिस्सेदार कौन हो सकता है, वो है रशिया। रशिया के लिए इंडियन से ज्यादा कोई भागीदारी में नहीं है, और वो एक बहुत अच्छा दोस्त चुन थे। और ये तो प्रूव हो गया कि इनसे अच्छा तो दोस्त कोई हो ही नहीं सकता है। हमारे यहाँ पे सब लोग कहते हैं कि पुतिन और मोदी जी है ना, वो कुंभ के मेले में बिछड़े 2 भाई है।
अच्छा, ये आप लोग कहते हैं?
या रूस में सब जानते हैं कि मोदी और पुतिन 84 इयर्स बैक 84 साल पहले कुंभ के मेले में 2 भाई बिछड़ गए। उसमें से एक रशिया में पैदा हो गया जो व्लादिमीर पुतिन बन गए, और जो इंडिया में पैदा हो गए वो नरेंद्र भाई मोदी बन गए। अब इनकी खासियत क्या है? दोनों पॉलिटिक्स 2000 में आते हैं, दोनों अब तक पॉलिटिक्स में है। 3 महीने के फर्क में दोनों पॉलिटिक्स में आए थे। 2024 में दोनों ने इलेक्शन जीता है, राइट। और दोनों एक ही बात करते हैं। पुतिन जी कहते हैं मेड इन रशिया और मोदी जी कहते हैं मेड इन इंडिया। ये दोनों सगे भाइयों की कहानी है।
तो आपको लगता है कि ये जो एक भावना है दोनों की ही अपने देशों के प्रति, ये उनको बॉन्ड करती, क्योंकि हम बहुत बार उनकी पर्सनल केमिस्ट्री की बात करते हैं, आपने तो दोनों राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्षों को बहुत करीब से देखा।
यस, ये इसमें कोई शक की बात नहीं, दोनों लोग की सोच एक ही है। वो अपने देश के लिए पहले काम करते हैं, देश हित के लिए काम करते हैं। अगर आप वॉर जोन में आइए, अगर आपको पता हो रशिया और यूक्रेन का अब जो चल रहा है, उसके बीच में आप मॉस्को में आए, आपको ऐसा एक पल के भी ऐसा कुछ लगा कि कुछ हो रहा है? नहीं, वो तो बॉर्डर पे जो हो रहा है वो बहुत ही हम क्या, पूरी दुनिया दो भाइयों को लड़ते हुए नहीं समझ सकती है। इसके लिए हम अमेरिका को दाद देंगे। कैसे दो भाइयों को लड़ा सकते हैं?
अच्छा, ये आपको लग रहा है अमेरिका दोनों भाइयों को लड़ाने की कोशिश कर रहा है? देखिए, इस वक्त नजरें अमेरिका की भी होंगी, चीन की भी होंगी। नरेंद्र मोदी रूस आ रहे हैं, लेकिन ये कहा जाता है कि चीन और रूस की दोस्ती भी बहुत ज्यादा आगे बढ़ चढ़ कर बोल रही है।
नहीं, रूस और चीन की कोई दोस्ती नहीं है। उनमें बिजनेस के संबंध बहुत ज्यादा हैं, उनका व्यापार बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है। लेकिन रशियन से अगर पूछोगे ना, अगर व्यापार करने के लिए उनको चीन से कोई एतराज नहीं है, लेकिन वो लोग विश्वास नहीं करते हैं।
अच्छा।
आज भी वो हमें हिंदुस्तानियों में विश्वास ढूंढ रहे हैं, और उनको पता है कि अगर उनको व्यापार करना है तो उनको सिर्फ हिंदुस्तानियों से ही करना है। और
तो आपको लगता है वहाँ एक ट्रस्ट डेफिसिट है और यहाँ पर एक ट्रस्ट सरप्लस है?
यस, हमारे बीच में ट्रस्ट की तो कोई बात ही नहीं है। मैं यहाँ पे रहता हूँ, मुझे नहीं लगता जितना रशियंस हमें प्यार करते हैं शायद कोई किसी को करता होगा।
और आप एक झंडा भी, अभी बात कर रहे थे किसी से फोन पर, तो एक लंबा झंडा जिसमें रूस भी होगा और भारत भी होगा, उसके बारे में जरा बताइए।
देखिए, ये साल 77 साल है हमारे दोस्ती के और डिप्लोमेटिक टाइज के। तो हम चाहते हैं कि 77 साल लंबा वाला हम झंडा बनाया जाए, उतने लंबा मीटर वाला एक झंडा बनाया जाएगा।
और ये कहाँ लहराया जाएगा?
एग्जैक्टली प्रधानमंत्री में आएंगे जहाँ पे आ रहे हैं।
प्रधानमंत्री सैमी कोटवानी जी उस वेलकमिंग पार्टी में भी होंगे जब वो कार्ल्टन पहुंचेंगे, तो जरा उसके बारे में भी बता दीजिए।
यस, हम एम्बेसी के बहुत सारा शुक्रिया करना चाहेंगे कि उन लोगों ने हमें ये मौका दिया है, और हम लोग 350 लोग के साथ उधर पहुंच रहे हैं। बहुत सारे प्ले कार्ड बनाए गए हैं, और इंडियंस रशियन डांसर आ रहे हैं वहाँ पे, कला, वो लोग अपना कला भी दिखाएंगे। सो इट विल बी वेरी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। बॉलीवुड, भरतनाट्यम सब होगा।
अच्छा, आपने एक चिट्ठी भी लिखी है व्लादिमीर पुतिन को, रूसी राष्ट्रपति को, रशिया में एक मंदिर की मांग करते हुए।
देखिए, मैं पहला हिंदुस्तानी हूँ जिसको रशियन पासपोर्ट मिला है, बिगर रशियन बीबी के।
अच्छा।
मुझसे पहले जितनों को भी पासपोर्ट मिला था उनके पास रशियन बीबी थी। मैं पहला हिंदुस्तानी हूँ जिसको रशियन पासपोर्ट मिला था बिगर रशियन बीबी के। तो मेरा हक बनता है कि मुझे अपनी जगह होनी चाहिए जहाँ पे मैं जाके प्रार्थना कर सकूं। तो उसी रिक्वेस्ट में मैंने उन्हें कहा था, और कोविड के समय में हमने 25 लोगों को, यहाँ पे हमारे मित्र लोग जो गुजर गए थे, तो उसमें हमने उन सबको लूज किया था। तो हमारे पास मंदिर नहीं था, बहुत दुख भरी बात थी। तो मैंने सोचा कि एटलीस्ट मरने पे कोई तो जगह हो जहाँ पे अपना सर टेका जाए। अच्छे टाइमों में तो सब
ये जो बात उन्होंने कही है, ये क्योंकि अयोध्या में एक मंदिर बना, उसके बाद अबू धाबी का जो मंदिर, जहां पर, वहां पर भी मैं गई थी कोटवानी जी, और वो अबू धाबी का जो मंदिर है, जब आप उसे देखते हैं तब शायद पूरे दुनिया भर में जहां भारतीय बसते हैं उनमें एक आस जगी है कि उनका भी एक प्रार्थना स्थल जिन जगहों पर नहीं है वहां।
और हमने हिंदू मंदिर की बात की है। हमने ना कोई कृष्णा, ना कोई शिवा, ना कोई रामा की बात की है। वी हैव टॉक इंडियन हिंदू मंदिर। रशियंस को मैंने समझाया, देखिए हमारी संस्कृति पहले आई है, क्रिश्चियनिटी, ऑर्थोडॉक्स क्रिश्चियंस, मुस्लिम्स और सब बाद में आए। जो आपसे पहले आए उसके ऊपर तो आपके ऊपर कोई एतराज ही नहीं होना चाहिए। अगर कोई बाद में आप उसके बारे में सोचो वो सही है कि गलत है, लेकिन हम तो पहले से हैं, तो वो मानते हैं कि हमारा ये होना चाहिए।
So you heard there the Indians residing in Russia, they're expecting some big headlines from this meeting between Putin and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, especially related to the ruble-rupiah trade, and because they are a thriving community here and they are giving full onus to the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's regime and to the Putin Russia regime here. Now, very significantly, I'm at the Carlton where the Prime Minister is staying, and he will be leaving shortly for that private dinner with the Russian president. He's going to be meeting the Russian president today. As Shravan was pointing out earlier, the number of times that the two state heads have met shows the significance of these Russia-India ties. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi has not been to Moscow for the last 9 years, but he's met President Putin on the sidelines of SCO, and he's also been to Russia in 2019 to Vladivostok. But this meeting is very, very specific in its agenda. It's very, very clearly talking about the bilateral ties between the two countries, and that is what both the countries have been speaking about: how to take the energy cooperation further, how to be able to draw a conclusion to the fifth generation fighter jets deal, and we are expecting that in this meeting. So that is going to be a significant announcement if that happens after this Modi-Putin meeting. And we are going to be slipping into a short break.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university in the recently released Education World Rankings, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked standards in education.
We have 120 hostages still in Gaza, and the government is doing everything they can not to get them out. The soldiers, the army, all of the heads of security have said that we do not need to be in Gaza anymore. It's time to move on. It's time to bring... We have 120 hostages still in Gaza, and the government is doing everything they can not to get them out. The soldiers, the army, all of the heads of security have said that we do not need to be in Gaza anymore. It's time to move on. It's time to bring these people home, to do what the country...
A country that has been completely isolated by the global world is going to be at the center of this entire global spectrum, because India is very clearly reaching out to Russia at a time when it has been sanctioned by the Western world. There are multiple perspectives to the Putin-Modi meeting, and they're going to all unfold here at Moscow as we report live for Republic TV.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university in the recently released Education World Rankings, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked standards in education.
हाँ, बहुत ज्यादा बड़े हुए हैं। मैं हर 3 दिन के बाद आती हूँ।
कारण यही है मैडम, पीछे से आलू आ रहा नहीं है, स्टोर वालों ने रोक रखा आलू। भैया ऐसे तो लगाएं, महंगाई तो जोरों पे ही है। टमाटर भी अच्छे खासे जा रहे हैं।
from Asia's largest news headquarters. Setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Prime Minister Modi lands in Moscow for the first time since 2015, and he will attend a dinner hosted by President Putin later tonight. PM Modi greeted with a ceremonial guard of honor as he lands in Moscow to attend the 22nd India-Russia annual summits. Prime Minister lands in Moscow with big bilateral on the cards. All eyes now on the historic Modi-Putin meeting. Shinde Sena leader Rajesh Shah granted bail in the Worli hit-and-run case. Driver remanded to one-day police custody. Top court dismisses plea by Mamata's government challenging High Court order over CBI probe in Sandesh Khali. And the Supreme Court asks the CBI to file a status report on the investigation in the NEET scam so far. Bite? All right, in the Worli hit-and-run case, the accused father, Rajesh Shah, has been granted bail by a court in Mumbai, even as Mumbai police continues to look out for Mihir Shah, the son of Rajesh Shah, who happens to be a Shiv Sena leader. In fact, the driver who was accompanying Mihir Shah continues to remain in police custody and in fact has been granted custodial interrogation by the court. This even as reports suggest that Mihir Shah has been on the run and might have communicated with his girlfriend apart from his mother and sister, and so the police questioning those three women. I'm told we have Meenakshi, who earlier spoke to the family of the victims. Let's listen into that.
मैं अभी वही सीजे हाउस के सामने खड़ी हूँ जहाँ पे दर्दनाक हादसा हुआ था कल सुबह 5:30 बजे यही सीजे हाउस के सामने से जा रहे थे वो दंपति जो ससून डॉक से फिश खरीद के लेके जा रहे थे घर। ये सीजे हाउस से जो रास्ता जाता है वर्ली सीलिंग की तरफ, वही जा रहे थे ये दंपति और ठीक इसी जगह वो BMW गाड़ी आया, पीछे से स्कूटर को धक्का दिया, वो लोग ऊपर से नीचे गिरे और गाड़ी के डॉक में वो लोग, बोनेट में वो लोग गिरे। उसके बाद क्या हुआ, एक दर्दनाक हादसा, जैसा कि रिपब्लिक टीवी को बताया, उन्होंने जो खुद थे स्कूटर में जिनका मौत हो गया, कावेरी जी, उनके पति बताते हैं यहाँ से एकदम सीजे हाउस के सामने से जब वो गिरे गाड़ी के बोनेट पे, तभी वो जो गाड़ी चला रहा था आरोपी मिहिर शाह, उसने घसीट के इसी रास्ते से सीधा लेके गया गाड़ी जो जाता है वर्ली सीलिंग की तरफ, जो यहाँ से 2 किलोमीटर का रास्ता है, डिस्टेंस है। यहाँ से 2 किलोमीटर तक गाड़ी घसीट के वो लेके गया और वो गाड़ी में कावेरी जी गाड़ी के बोनेट से नीचे गिरी और उनको घसीट के सीधा लेके गया। जैसा कावेरी जी के पति का बोलना है, अगर वो यहाँ पे इस जगह पे गाड़ी रोक देता, शायद कावेरी जी आज बच जाते, ये दर्दनाक हादसा नहीं होता।
In fact, that was Meenakshi giving ground report from the spot where the accident took place. She earlier also spoke to the victim family. Let's listen in.
हम अभी वोरली कोलीवारा में हैं, उनके घर में जिनका मौत हो गया है ये वोरली एक्सीडेंट में। कावेरी नाकवा के घर में हैं हम और उनके पति भी हैं हमारे साथ। जानने की कोशिश करेंगे कैसे हुआ ये हादसा। दादा, आप अभी तो बात करने का आपका ये नहीं है, मैं समझ सकती हूँ कि क्या गुजरा है आपके ऊपर, आपके फैमिली के ऊपर। जानना चाहती हूँ थोड़ा अगर बोले कि कैसे ये इतना बड़ा हादसा हो गया।
हमारा घर का मच्छी का धंधा है। हम फिशरमैन है। हम अभी बारिश में हमारा बोट ऊपर रहता है, मच्छी पकड़ने का हमको परमिशन नहीं रहती, इसलिए हम लोग सवेरे उठ के क्रॉफिट मार्केट जाके मच्छी खरीदते हैं और वो ही मच्छी हम लोग बाज़ार में बेच देते हैं। तो ऐसा हमारा रूटीन फ्राइडे, वेडनेसडे और संडे ऐसा रहता है। तो हम लोग हर रूटीन की तरफ से हम लोग वही डेली का हम लोग करते थे। वही रूटीन के हिसाब से हम लोग क्रॉफिट मार्केट गए। क्रॉफिट सवेरे 4 बजे क्रॉफिट मार्केट गए। क्रॉफिट मार्केट में हम लोग मच्छी लिया और हम लोग पेडर रोड तरफ से आ रहे थे। पेडर रोड तरफ से आ रहे थे 35 किलोमीटर्स, यानी अपना जो ये रहता है ना, स्पीड रहता है ना, वो 35 का स्पीड था। हम लोग एक किनारे से आ रहे थे, पीछे से अचानक धार से आवाज़ आया। हम लोग पागल हो गए, दोनों उड़ गए आसमान में। आसमान में उड़ने के बाद पूरा उसके ही बोनेट पे गिर गए। बोनेट पे गिरने के बाद उसने ब्रेक मार दिया ज़ोर से। ब्रेक मारने के बाद मैं लेफ्ट तरफ गिर गया और वो चक्के के नीचे गिर गई। उसने 1 मिनट भी नहीं लगाया और उसको लेके इतना स्पीड में उसका टायर ऐसा जोर से ये हो गया और धुआं आ गया टायर का। इतने जोर से वो गाड़ी भगाया। मैं उसको चिल्लाया, रुक 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 नहीं रुका। 1 सेकंड में मेरा पूरा परिवार खत्म। 1 सेकंड में पूरा परिवार खत्म हो गया। मेरे बच्चे हालात हो गए। वही हमारे परिवार की सब थी। हमारा परिवार में वही सब थी, सब वही देखती थी। वो वही, मैं मच्छी मारता था, वो उसका बेच के हम लोग को पैसा मिलता था। वो थोड़ा भी नहीं रुका, थोड़ा भी नहीं। सिंजा हाउस से लेके उसने जो गाड़ी चलाया, मैं उसके पीछे टैक्सी लेके दौड़ा, मगर वो मिला नहीं मेरे को। आधा यानी कम से कम आधा किलोमीटर तक मैं गया, वो मिला नहीं मेरे को। मैं वहीं से टैक्सी घुमा के पुलिस स्टेशन पे आया और पुलिस लोगों को बताया। फिर 15 मिनट में मेरे को पता चला कि सीलिंग के इधर उसने खींच के उधर फेंक दिया।
तभी रुक जाता तो जान से बच।
रुक जाता तो उसको कुछ नहीं हुआ था, कुछ नहीं हुआ था। मेरे पीठ पे गिरी थी वो। बोनेट पे हम लोग ऊपर उड़े ना, वो मेरे पीठ पे गिरी थी। उसने उसको गाली दी, रुक रुक। वो रुका नहीं, वो चिल्ला रही थी। कोई सुना नहीं, कोई सुना नहीं। वो जोर जोर से चिल्ला रही थी मेरे सामने से परपट के। ऐसा घसीट के लेके गया ना, कोई जानवर को भी नहीं लेके जाता। ऐसा घसीट के लेके गया। क्या करूं, मैं चिल्ला रहा है, रुको रुको रुको, कुछ नहीं रुका।
28 साल का लड़का है, वही चला रहा था गाड़ी, मिहिर शाह।
हाँ, नीतीश शाह करके, मेरे को मालूम नहीं, नीतीश शाह,
मिहिर शाह।
हाँ, वो नाम नहीं था मेरे को मालूम, मगर जो ऐसा पतला सा ऐसा ये था, उसका नाक ऐसा थोड़ा सा लंबा सा था, ऐसा और ऐसा थोड़ा दाढ़ी था उसको। मैंने उसको, जब मैं गिरा ना, तभी मैं हाथ मारा, तभी उसको देखा तो उसके बगल में हम लोग गिरा तो उसका कांच टूटा था। तो उसको मैं इस साइड के आदमी को नहीं देखा, मगर जो गाड़ी चला था उसको देखा था।
तो आपने चिल्लाया, वो सुना? तो
चिल्लाया, हाथ मारा, फिर भी नहीं रुका। वो ऐसा इतना स्पीड में दौड़ा है कि उसको खींच के लेके गया।
कितना दूर लेगा खींच के?
सीजिया उससे तो आप बोले तो सीलिंग का कोना कितना हो गया? सीजिया उस कहाँ है?
4-5 किलोमीटर।
5 किलोमीटर खींच के लेके गया। बताओ, अपन को अगर थोड़ा सा भी खरोच आए तो आदमी क्या करता है, उसका क्या हालत हो गया होगा, बताओ। हाँ, ये बड़े लोग रहते हैं, हाँ, हम गरीब लोग हैं, हम गरीब लोगों को क्या करेंगे बताओ ना। हाँ, हमारे पीछे कौन है? ये लोग क्या अभी खत्म हो जाएगा, थोड़े दिन करेंगे खत्म हो जाएगा, हम वैसे ही पड़े रहेंगे, कोई पूछने वाला नहीं गरीबों को।
आपके साथ ही आपकी वाइफ ये काम करती थी जहाँ मछली का कारोबार संभालती थी, अब ये घर का क्या होगा, क्या आपने क्या सोचा?
नहीं संभालने वाला, अभी मेरा बच्चा अनाथ हो गया। हम लोग का पूरा हमारा पूरा परिवार तहस-नहस हो गया, क्या करूं? हमारे करती कर रही थी वही थी सब, उसकी वजह से ही हम लोग सब।
घर का भी संभालती थी, बाहर का भी काम काज संभालती,
सब वही करती थी। मेरा काम था मच्छी ला के देना और उसका मच्छी बेचना। तो उसके बावजूद वो हमारा तो मच्छी थोड़ा आता था समुंदर का, मगर वो नहीं रहता तो हम लोग मार्केट से खरीद देते और वो बेचते, हमारा उधर निर्वाह होता था।
अभी घर में कौन कौन है आप है?
मेरा लड़की, मेरा लड़का और मैं, 3 ही जने हम लोग, उसके अलावा कोई नहीं।
तो आरोपी के पिता को अरेस्ट किया है, गाड़ी में जो थे उनको अरेस्ट किया, क्या चाहते हैं आप लोग, क्या चाहते?
मैं यही चाहता हूँ कि उसको फांसी की सजा हो। ऐसा कृत्य करने से अगर आदमी को नहीं पहचानता, जानवर की तरह सुलूक करता है, तो उसको फांसी होनी चाहिए, उसको जीने का हक नहीं। अगर मैं उसके घर वाले को अगर मैं ऐसा करूं तो मेरे साथ क्या होता था? अगर मैं वही मालिक रहता और मैं गाड़ी चलाता और मैं उसके लड़के को खींच के लेके जाता तो मेरे साथ क्या करते थे वो लोग, ये मेरे को बताओ। उनको फांसी होनी चाहिए, फांसी का कुछ नहीं।
All right, Republic investigation team also spoke to the pub owner from where Meher Shah had left after partying. He gives crucial details that can help police piece together what exactly happened before the accident. Listen in.
करके गेस्ट ने बुकिंग किया था, वो हमारे यहाँ पे रेगुलर आता है, सबका आईडी चेक हुआ है, उनके आईडीज अपन ने दे भी दिए हैं, ठीक है। जितना सर हमको आइडिया है, ये 11:08 को ये 4 लोगों का ग्रुप आया था, वो लोग बैठे थे, वो लोग ने खाना खाया, ड्रिंक किया एंड 11:14 को बिल पेमेंट ख़त्म कर दिया था एंड 11:26 को देवर आउट ऑफ द प्रीमाइसेस, ठीक है। जो लड़का मिहिर बोला जा रहा है उसने ड्रिंक भी नहीं किया है, खाली रेड बुल लिया है, ठीक है। वो डिटेल्स सीसीटीवी में पुलिस भी चेक कर रही है, उनके पास सारी डिटेल्स है और हमारे यहाँ से कोई इसका लेना था।
कितने लोग
सर ये आए थे मर्सिडीज़ गाड़ी में, एक्सीडेंट हुआ है BMW, जब गए भी थे तभी भी मर्सिडीज़ गाड़ी थी सर। तो हमारे यहाँ से गाड़ी ड्राइवर चालक किसी का कोई संबंध नहीं है, ये खाली दूसरे सब जो पॉलिटिकल चीज़ की वजह से एक रेस्टोरेंट ओनर को या हम रेस्टोरेंट को कंसिडर कर रहा है। एज़ पर लॉ, एज़ पर नॉर्म्स हमने सब किया है और कुछ भी इसमें आउट नहीं।
टोटल कितने लोग आए थे?
4 लोग आए,
उसमें कोई लेडीज भी शामिल थे?
नहीं, कोई भी नहीं था, सॉरी।
और आए थे मर्सिडीज से, लेकिन घटना BMW में हुई है।
हाँ,
यहाँ पे BMW थी क्या?
नहीं, खाली मर्सिडीज।
All right, let's look at some other stories from across the country in a Bharat 5-minute top wrap. Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde led a high-level meeting at the district control room in Mumbai to address the flood situation caused by heavy rains in the state. Present at the meeting were Mumbai Guardian Minister MP Lodha, Relief and Rehab Minister Anil Patil and other officials. The discussions were focused on assessing the impact and coordinating relief efforts to manage the flooding effectively, ensuring the safety and well-being of affected residents. Days after being sworn in as Jharkhand's Chief Minister for the 3rd time, Hemant Soren won the floor test with 45 MLAs supporting him. He became the 13th Chief Minister on July 4, following his release from Birsa Munda jail on June 28 after securing bail in a money laundering case. This came after he resigned in January before his arrest, with Champai Soren serving briefly as Chief Minister. Soren, meanwhile, accused the BJP of false allegations, reaffirming his commitment to serving the people. He stated that his return would strengthen the JMM, which secured a majority in the 2019 assembly elections with Congress and RJD and the allies. BJP leader Shehzad Poonawalla criticized Congress for allegedly celebrating India's T20 defeat against Zimbabwe. He claimed Congress opposes Prime Minister Narendra Modi so strongly that they wish for India's loss during T20 World Cup final against South Africa. After India's young team won by 100 runs against Zimbabwe, Poonawalla demanded an apology from the Congress, urging them to stop opposing the country just because they want to oppose Modi.
100 रन से हम जीते हैं तो आज शशि थरूर जी को बताना चाहिए, कांग्रेस को बताना चाहिए कि क्या वो माफी मांगेंगे भारतीय टीम से। मोदी विरोध में कम से कम भारत के विरोध में मत उतरिए।
The IMD has issued an orange alert for Mumbai for July 9, predicting very heavy rains in the next 24 hours. The city experienced significant rainfall on Monday, causing traffic jams and waterlogging. IMD also recorded a lashing amount of rain between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. Moreover, the Central Railway General Manager reported over 300 mm of rain in 6 hours, leading to waterlogging and train disruptions. Flight operations were also affected and schools have been closed, with exams cancelled. The BMC reported heavy rainfall in various areas, leading to further waterlogging and disrupted train services. The IMD has further advised residents to stay indoors. Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami conducted a review meeting with officials from Kumaon Commissioner, District Magistrates of Champawat, Udham Singh Nagar and Pithoragarh regarding recent heavy rainfall in Uttarakhand. Emphasizing expedited relief operations and coordination among departments, Dhami also interacted with locals during his morning walk in Gopeshwar for feedback on state government initiatives. He directed district magistrates to deploy SDRF and NDRF teams, responding to predictions from the Meteorological Center of continued heavy rainfall until July 10, urging residents to remain cautious. Chief Minister Nitish Kumar expressed condolences for the 12 people who died due to lightning in Bihar's 7 districts. He announced an ex gratia of 4 lakh rupees each to the families of the deceased. Kumar emphasized caution during bad weather, urging residents to follow Disaster Management Department guidelines for safety. He conducted an aerial survey of river water levels in West Champaran, East Champaran and Gopalganj districts. Kumar's official statement and appeal underscored the state government's commitment to support affected families and ensure public safety during adverse weather conditions. Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah launched new milk products under the Nandini milk brand today. He also reviewed a meeting with district collectors and district panchayat chief executive officers, attended by ministers and officials including the Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar. Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar criticized the BJP over liquor distribution at a Thanksgiving event following BJP MP Dr. K. Sudhakar's win. He stated it to be a culture of the BJP and demanded from BJP National President J.P. Nadda that he respond on the issue.
So it is a culture of the BJP and Mr. Naddaji, the national president. I don't want the local leaders to reply to it. I want the BJP president, national president to just reply to it. And it is the culture of the BJP.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
India and Thailand have started joint military exercises by the name of Maitri 2024, and they signify a pivotal step in enhancing bilateral military cooperation between the Indian Army and the Royal Thailand Army under United Nations Charter. Troops from both contingents were deeply engaged in intensive training sessions focused on honing skills in counterinsurgency and counter-terrorism operations conducted in diverse settings, including jungle warfare and urban environments. Well, moving on to some sad information coming in from Jammu, where an encounter broke out in the Kathua area earlier in the day, and reports suggest that there have been some loss of life in that encounter when an Indian Army convoy was targeted. These are pictures of that moment, and let's go to Gursimran. He's joining us live. I believe, Gursimran, this happened in the Machedi area of Kathua. Please tell us what more details can you share about this encounter? Who carried out this dastardly attack? Which terrorist organization has carried out this attack?
See, Abhishek, what we can confirm from our sources in both Indian Army and the Jammu and Kashmir Police, that this is a freshly infiltrated group of Jaish-e-Mohammed that has carried out this attack on the Indian Army convoy. However, the attack did not succeed fully, as the terrorists were attempting that all the roughly 10 to 12 soldiers inside this vehicle, the army vehicle, the 2.5-ton vehicle they were traveling in, they wanted to take all these bullets onto this vehicle so that there is no life after this attack. But some troops of the Indian Army, they retaliated, after which the terrorists escaped. Unfortunately, there have been some loss to our side, and the Western Command of the Indian Army is expected to issue a statement shortly. It is expected as the Army headquarters have been briefed about the operation and the operational casualties that the Indian Army has suffered. In a short while from now, we expect that the Indian Army's Western Command will be issuing a statement, but this is a first major attack on the Indian Army's Western Command area, that is the Samba Kathua area. Earlier, we have seen that in the Chhatrgala area and also in the Gando, there were 2 terror attacks, but that were in the area of the Northern Command. Now what is happening, that the terrorists have taken the route of the Kathua and the Samba and also Bamyal in the Pathankot to infiltration into the Indian territory, and then what they are taking is that the Kathua route that is along with the Uj river towards the Doda district, wherein they are trying to establish a base. This group of terrorists, they carried out, it was a planned attack. However, it could not succeed fully, but yes, unfortunate news there is coming that there have been loss to the Indian Army, the statement regarding which they will be issuing shortly. But one thing is very clear, Abhishek, that the infiltration, the large-scale infiltration, which we time and again have been saying that the agencies have reported it to the union government, they are taking place, and the terror groups, they are at all-time high in the Jammu region. Roughly 50 Pakistani terrorists are active in the Jammu region. The number is all-time high. Reason being that the Pakistan has shifted its strategy from relying on the local terrorists, because they know that the locals are not turning into terrorism, and that's why they are sending a highly trained terrorist into the Indian territory, Abhishek.
All right, thank you so much, Gursimran. Hope that the news is bad from Jammu's Kathua, where an encounter has broken out in the Machedi area.
In his third term, Prime Minister Narendra Modi chooses Russia for his first bilateral visit. All eyes are going to be on the Modi-Putin camaraderie. We get you all the live updates here from Moscow, live in collaboration with Russia Today.
हाँ, बहुत ज्यादा बड़े हुए हैं। मैं हर 3 दिन के बाद आती हूँ।
कारण यही है मैडम, पीछे से आलू आ रहा नहीं है, स्टोर वालों ने रोक रखा आलू। भैया ऐसे तो लगाएं, महंगाई तो जोरों पे ही है। टमाटर भी अच्छे खासे जा रहे हैं। भैया ऐसे तो लगाएं, महंगाई तो जोरों पे ही है। टमाटर भी अच्छे खासे जा रहे हैं। ये थोड़ा सा रुका हुआ था, लेकिन ये भी ऊपर हो जाता है, नीचे फिर नहीं आता।
एक महीने पहले का रेट और आज के रेट में कितना फर्क दिख रहा है आपको?
इसमें जैसे आलू की बात करें तो कम से कम 15-1% का तो फर्क आ ही रहा है जी, कम से कम।
कहीं ना कहीं जेब पर जैसे बढ़ा, क्योंकि 10 का आलू और 50 का मिल रहा है।
जेब पे असर पड़ रहा है और किस चीज़ पे पड़ेगा भैया। महंगाई चरम सीमा पे है। आलू चिप्सोना चल रहा है 1200-1300 रुपये पैकेट, 50 किलो है। और 37 चल रहा है 24 रुपये 25 रुपये किलो। और सूर्या 1350-1300 रुपये।
तो ये कौन से रेट है? थोक वाले रेट है?
ये थोक वाले रेट है।
तो रिटेल में जाते जाते कितना पहुंच जाता है आलू 1 किलो अगर बात करें?
1 किलो अगर 1350 का लाएगा तो बंदा 30 रुपये किलो बेचेगा, और 1250 का लाएगा तो 25 तो पड़ जाएगा, 30 ही बेचेगा वो भी। हाँ,
तो रेट बढ़ गए हैं पहले से?
हाँ, रेट बढ़ गया है।
कब से बढ़े हैं ये रेट?
रेट करीब 2 महीने से बढ़े।
क्या कारण लगता है आपको रेट बढ़ने का?
कारण यही है मैडम, पीछे से आलू आ रहा नहीं है, स्टोर वालों ने रोक रखा आलू। हाँ,
तो ये कहाँ से आता है आलू मंडी में, उपला मंडी में?
आलू गुजरात से आता है, और ये वहाँ से आता है हाथरस, अलीगढ़, संभल, पंजाब।
Well, let's look at some international stories. Russian missiles struck a children's hospital in Kiev, killing at least 3 people, marking the largest bombardment of the Ukrainian capital in months. Another attack in Kryvyi Rih resulted in at least 10 deaths. President Volodymyr Zelensky reported that Russia targeted 5 cities with over 40 missiles, hitting apartment buildings and public infrastructure. The attacks included advanced Kinzhal hypersonic missiles, which fly at 10 times the speed of sound, making them difficult to intercept. The blasts caused city buildings to shake. New UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and Northern Ireland Secretary Hilary Benn visited Belfast on Monday, meeting with local political leaders in their first trip since taking office. They were welcomed at Stormont Castle by First Minister Michelle O'Neill and Deputy Emma Little-Pangeli, and later met with Northern Ireland Assembly Speaker Edwin Poots at Stormont Parliament. Starmer's visit follows a landslide victory for his Labour Party in the recent UK general elections.
In his third term, Prime Minister Narendra Modi chooses Russia for his first bilateral visit. All eyes are going to be on the Modi-Putin camaraderie. We get you all the live updates here from Moscow, live in collaboration with Russia Today.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university in the recently released Education World Rankings. A testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked standards in education.
Hotel Management with AI. Join International Institute of Hotel Management.
कन्फर्मेशन के हिसाब से दो अलग अलग इनकाउंटर साइट्स पे इनकाउंटर्स हुए हैं। बॉडी की कन्फर्मेशन के हिसाब से 6 आतंकियों का मारे जाने का खबर है। जी जी।
सर कितनी बड़ी सफलता है ये सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस के लिए, क्योंकि काफी चल रहा था पिछले दिनों से इंटेलिजेंस इनपुट जिस अंदाज से जम्मू में कुछ टेरर अटैक्स हुए थे और लगातार उसके बाद ऑपरेशंस आपने शुरू किए। डोडा में 4 टेररिस्ट मारे गए, उसके बाद बारामूला में और अब साउथ कश्मीर के कुलगाम।
निसंदेह ये एक बहुत बड़ा माइलस्टोन है, बहुत बड़ा प्रोग्रेस है। सिक्योरिटी एनवायरनमेंट में मजबूती लाने के लिए
Well, in the spirit of long-standing Russia-India cooperation and friendship, here at RT from our special coverage studio with nothing less than the Kremlin right behind us, we will be doing a special joint broadcast with Republic TV. So you'll be able to watch that both here on RT International or, of course, on Republic TV. And we'll be talking anything and everything related to the Indian Premier's visit to Moscow. He is wheels down and ready to talk business with his Indian counterpart. And we are here ready to talk with Arnab Goswami about what this all means, where there's room for further cooperation, and how this historic friendship has endured over the decades. We'll see you later.
His third term and Prime Minister Narendra Modi chooses Russia for his first bilateral visit. From the United States to China, the world looks on at the Putin-Modi camaraderie. Join me, Sujarita Kukreti, live from Moscow as I report for Republic TV.
Are you comfortable with 2 secessions becoming MPs in the Lok Sabha? Amrit Pal, how can a man who's waging war, taking an army, attacking police stations, saying it's going to break the country, how can we let that man walk into our parliament? Rashid Engineer has been charged with funding terrorism. The only thing that matters to me is that he has worked with groups to sponsor terrorism in India and is facing a trial for it. And my question is, when we are changing colonial laws and replacing it with the Bharatiya Nyaya Sangha,
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. Within 72 hours, as we feared, within 72 hours only or less of taking oath as a member of Parliament of the Indian Republic, the jailed Khalistani supporter Amrit Pal Singh has reaffirmed his undying commitment to a Khalistan state. This man who in the past has waged war against the country, made seditious remarks of calling for arms against the Indian state, and then justified the picking of arms against the Indian state. This man who laid siege and armed siege to a police station with his private and illegal army. And this man who has time and again threatened the sovereignty of India has done it once again with the quote-unquote legitimacy now of being a member of the Lok Sabha. Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on here? What's going on? Are we going to watch this and do nothing? The constitution on which Amrit Pal put his hand on and probably solemnly affirmed to uphold India's integrity has been effectively torn apart by him tonight after his statement. Are we just going to sit and watch and do nothing, and all of this while the mascots of democracy, who use the constitution as a prop, as a marketing gimmick, people like Rahul Gandhi who do this with the constitution and use it for their political gains, stand as mute spectators of this violation of our democracy? Ladies and gentlemen, I had warned you when this man Amritpal filed for his nomination. I warned you when he won the elections. I warned you again when he was given bail to take oath, that the oath of such a person would have no meaning and be nothing but an absolute lie. The signs have always been there, but this time Amritpal has done it once again at the taxpayers' expense and of our parliament. And the fact that he is doing this so brazenly and we can't do anything about it is unacceptable. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight on the show I'll give you several reasons why Amritpal should be disqualified. That's debate number 1 tonight, viewers. That's debate number 1 this evening. And I appeal to anyone who has a conscience and who believes in this country to start an anti-Amritpal movement in this country. Debating 2 tonight, we have unfortunate deaths in Kathua. Ladies and gentlemen, we've lost lives and we have a big debate on that. Latest breaking news, we'll also go live to where the encounter has happened. 4 Jawans have been martyred. The Jaish-e-Mohammed's hand has surfaced. Pakistan is getting desperate. That's debate number 2 tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And I have a special broadcast at 9 o'clock tonight as the Prime Minister begins a historic official visit. And the largest networks of Russia and of Bharat, Russia Today and Republic, are joining hands in this unprecedented global coverage. That's at 9 o'clock tonight. We'll live to our studios in Moscow tonight. And at 9:15, why I believe it's time for America to get real, because our foreign policy is in our hands. The Americans can take a walk. Ladies and gentlemen, here are the headlines. Start of the week this Monday evening on the Debate Tonight. Prime Minister Narendra Modi lands in Russia for the first time since 2019, where he will attend a dinner hosted by Russian President Vladimir Putin. The 2 heads of state are set to hold talks as Moscow gears up to host the historic 22nd annual India-Russia summit, which begins tomorrow. The largest news networks of Russia and India, Russia Today and the Republic Media Network, have come together for an unprecedented global broadcast of Narendra Modi's Moscow visit and his meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin will hold in-person talks during the 22nd annual India-Russia summit. Issues of Indian nationals being dragged into the war likely to be discussed. And within 72 hours of being sworn in as a member of the Lok Sabha, Khalistani supporter Amritpal Singh is back to secessionist ways, says nothing wrong in dreaming of a Khalistani state. And ladies and gentlemen, a mere 72 hours have passed since Khalistani supporter, terrorist supporter Amritpal Singh took oath as a member of the Lok Sabha. Within this time, Amritpal has already violated his constitutional oath when he admonished his own mother who said that her son is not a Khalistani supporter. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Amritpal has shown his true colors. The bigger question is, should this anti-national be allowed to continue for even a minute more as a member of parliament? Let's debate.
Are you also vouching for a separate state?
Yeah, that's the idea of Khalistan is, it's not separate state. Separatism is like, we were connected to someone. We were not connected. We were forcefully, taken into Indian nation by Britishers. There was no India before 1947. They established this country.
Amritpal Singh was sworn in recently as Member of Parliament from Khadur Sahib. His anti-India statement comes just 3 days after his swearing in. The Khalistani radical currently resides in Dibrugarh jail, facing serious charges under the National Security Act. His statement comes after his mother said that Amritpal does not represent Khalistan.
कोई कुछ भी कही जाए कोई खालिस्तानी समर्थक नहीं है जिदा हम पंजाब के हकों की गल करना अपनी पंजाब की नौजवानी बचाना कोई खालिस्तानी समर्थक हो जाता बंदा संविधान के दायरे च रह के चोन लड़ी हुण ते इन्हां नूं इहो जिहा कोई कहना ही नहीं चाहिए क्योंकि हुण तो संविधान दे जदों संविधान की सौंह चुकी है संविधान के दायरे च रह के चोन लड़ी है तो फिर इहो जी तो कोई गल करनी नहीं चाहिए ये वा भी पंजाब के जिहड़े काम है मुद्दे आ उन्हां दी जरूर असीं मुद्दा ते मसला उठावांगे पंजाब की नौजवानी नूं बचावांगे पंजाब के हकों की गल जरूर करांगे.
Within 24 hours, Amritpal Singh rebuffed his mother, even went on to admonish his family for saying that he was not a Khalistani supporter, saying that he will never compromise on a so-called Sikh state. This is not the first time Amritpal has made secessionist remarks.
No peace can be established without weapons. That's why every state have weapons. The police, we say the police is for peace. Why they have weapons? So weapons are not evil thing. If it's very evil, why don't the governments and the state and everybody, army, they just dismiss all the armies, all the weapons, dispose everything, and then ask us why do we have weapons?
Now that Amritpal has already violated his constitutional oath, does he deserve to sit in the Lok Sabha a minute longer? Is it time to disqualify Amritpal Singh?
So the situation is this, and Raman Malik, I want to start with you. You have a terrorist supporter, a Khalistani sympathizer who says within 2 days of swearing by the Constitution of India that I promise, he says, effectively to break the Indian state. And a person who says, Surinder Singh Lali, a person who says, I will break the Indian state, I do not believe in the borders and the sovereignty of India. I do not even believe in India or Bharat. We will all watch. You see, the people like Rahul Gandhi who do this to the Constitution as a marketing tool. They will say, no, let's not speak about Amritpal, let's just use this. मोहब्बत की दुकान इसको कहते हैं. इनकी मोहब्बत की दुकान. Akashdeep Muni is on the debate. Lokesh Jindal is on. I want to start with Surinder Singh Lali. Surinder Singh Lali. One minute. Surinder Singh Lali, is any political party in Punjab taking a position against this?
You know, Arnab, as a proud Indian Sikh, it pains me to see these fringe rogues now come into my parliament. You talk about political party, you have a gentleman for Aam Aadmi Party. They have still not done a press conference on their alleged accusation from Pannu that he gave them $16 million, and let this be for the record. So politicians are playing with this, and I think it's time that the Indian government takes cognizance with it because it's a border state and we could be playing with fire. These people who supposedly think that they have shown here in no way understand Sikhism or the value Sikhism stands for or the sacrifices. Arnab, I want to thank you that you're allowing the likes of me who have nothing to do with these journeys, these trains who could be making these noises in America and Canada under the bogey of free speech and peddling the wrong narrative and putting the likes of me, majority of Sikhs in North India, under the needle of suspicion. So I think these kind of journeys have no right. Can you imagine this gentleman is going to be sharing space with the likes of Sudha Murthy? So I think there is something that needs to be done. If the government doesn't do it, we, the civil society, the media, and I want to be a part of the narrative where I do not wish to see them in the sacred space of our parliament. Or no.
Well, I think it's incredible that people like you are speaking up, because I agree with you. These people who call themselves pro-Khalistani have no right to speak for all Sikhs. Sikhs are nationalists, Sikhs are patriots, Sikhs believe in this country, Sikhs have laid down their lives for the country. And the Sikh faith has always stood by what is right and against what is wrong. Sikh gurus have sacrificed their lives to defend their Hindu brethren. And I think it's so sorry and I feel so sad today that there isn't a national movement against this. Akashdeep Muni, what happened to the chief minister? Is he scared? Is Bhagwant Mann scared of taking on even Amritpal? Then he should quit. Law and order is under him. He's so scared. The other day we saw a group of Nihangs. They they attack someone with swords. There are daylight killings and murder attempts happening on anyone who speaks up. I mean, what is this? Is Bhagwant Mann in any position to speak on Amritpal, or will he say, I'll pass the parcel on this?
He was giving the gun license. It was only Bhagwant Mann government who put Amritpal behind bars. It was not Bharatiya Janata Party and Shiromani Akali Dal government prior to that, and even not other governments, even not Congress government. It was Aam Aadmi Party government with three.
Firstly, that's wrong. Firstly, that's wrong.
No,
it was a joint operation. I'm sorry, he did nothing. Eventually, it was a joint operation that caught him. Please, anyway, come to the point. The man is saying...
I'm coming to the point. Let me come to the point now. Now, the point I want to make today is that...
Take it as breaking news, please.
At the center of power, it is very astonishing that the central government has allowed 3 prone terrorists to fight elections this time. From Khadur Saab, Amritpal Singh fought and won. Not only... and then Sarabjit Singh, who is the son of the assassin of late Indira Gandhi ji, won from Farid.
But give me one. No. 1 minute. Joe, did you make us 1 minute? I want to know. Please let me focus on this, viewers, because you see, political parties are all hypocrites. They're saying, oh, it's so sad that the BJP allowed Amritpal, to fight the election. Did he fight on a BJP ticket? The question is not that. The question is this: did Arvind Kejriwal? I am asking you. Listen to me. I am asking you a question. People, viewers of Republic, nationalists, members of the Nationalist Collective, supporters of Republic, believers in Republic, believers in nationalism. I am asking you tonight. I am asking you tonight to the holy soil of this country. I am asking you tonight. If any one of us swears by the holy soil of Bharat and says, has any major political leader questioned this? Has Arvind Kejriwal spoken about it? Did Bhagwant Mann oppose it openly? Has Bhagwant Mann or Arvind Kejriwal made a single open statement against Amritpal, or have they played safe?
Listen to me.
This country will not become great if we play safe. I'm listening to you. I'm getting Raman Malik into the debate.
I just need 2 minutes.
I can't tolerate having this man in parliament. This man cannot be allowed to operate in parliament.
To put everything in perspective.
Breaking news on this, please.
Just 2 minutes to put everything in
only
perspective.
On this story.
First of all, please understand. Bhindranwala was erected by Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Mrs. Indira Gandhi through Kamal Nath on a stipend. Please mark the point. Bhindranwala was erected by Indira Gandhi through Kamal Nath on a stipend. Second number point, SGPC never condemns any separatist. SGPC has
breaking news on this story.
Love for
everyone
separatism. SGPC does not come forward and say that separatism is not okay. Third, most important point, which has to be talked. They talk about 84 and yet they vote for Congress. Fourth major point, which has to be understood. The Honorable Supreme Court of India could suo moto say that yes, this person is a secessionist. He has no right to be in the parliament. But the Honorable Supreme Court remains quiet. And that, my dear friend,
then somebody has to take the matter to the Supreme Court. I'm sorry. No, Raman Malik, I call you this. These matters. 1 minute. Sir, 1 minute. Akashdeep, chill. Okay. Viewers, here's the situation. Okay, 1 minute. Here's the situation. All political parties have gone scared. I'm not sparing the BJP also. Is the BJP on this panel tonight? No, there are pro-BJP voices. There is no BJP official voice. If every political party in this country wants to be safe vis-a-vis Amritpal, then I say, let a right-thinking citizen of this country go to the Supreme Court with a PIL. He or she will be heard. Let Justice Chandrachud decide, honorable courts decide, whether a man who has endangered the sovereignty of this country, violated Section 152,
Honorable Rashtrapati ji,
violated Section 152 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which deals with acts endangering the sovereignty and integrity of this country, let someone go to the Supreme Court. Because this statement has been taken, Lokesh Jindal, one day after he was sworn in. One day. It's deliberate. It is deliberate. It is aimed at telling 1.4 billion people of this country, I will use your democracy to destroy it. And we are going to be this woke liberal, oh, let's not do anything, live and let live. It's all carry on. Sab log khush rehte hai, tolerate karo. Mohabbat ki dukaan, soft state. Hai na? Lokesh?
For this, it's going to be election commission. Arnab, if you look at the present constitutional provisions, it is the election commission that will have to take the due cognizance, because prior to 1st of July, it was section 153A, for which he was accused and he was under trial also. And if you look at Article 102 along with Article 103, it is for the election commission to look into the matter, and the president, after taking the opinion of the election commission, would be taking a call with respect to disqualification of Amritpal Singh.
The point is the Honorable Supreme Court jumps into issues suo moto. Why can't they come right now? Enter this issue. The Honorable Supreme Court has
very major matter tonight. Breaking news. Amritpal, the breaking news has to appropriately say, 1 minute, our breaking news sticker should be corrected. The breaking news sticker should be corrected of Republic. It should say, Amritpal violates his oath as Lok Sabha MP by declaring allegiance to Khalistani state. That is what it should say. The debate is on whether he should be disqualified. I'm shocked at this, Surinder Singh Lalli. Everybody is passing the buck. Supreme Court, Election Commission, Speaker. Nobody wants to do anything, you know.
Arnab, look at the irony and the hypocrisy. On one hand, they're hiding behind the Election Commission, and if that was to take a decision, then this is Samvidhan khatre mein hai. So they need to decide which side of the fence they're sitting on. I mean, whatever.
But what about Om Birla? He's a Lok Sabha Speaker. Can't he decide this? 1 minute. Mr. Lalli, today, if you have pledged your allegiance to a foreign state, even if it's an imaginary state, which will never happen, it is a violation of Article 1021D of the Constitution of India, which deals with the grounds of disqualification as membership. Why can't Speaker Om Birla decide on this? Does the Speaker decide?
No, the Speaker is not entitled. The Speaker can only decide in anti-defection law.
Do so, because within 24
all other provisions are to be dealt as per Article 103 of the Constitution, which requires the Election Commission to give opinion when the President asks the Election Commission for. And even the opinion of Election Commission is binding upon the President.
So what are we doing?
Are talking about the
Sir, he's called for a separate. Sir, what are we doing here? 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 What? I'm sorry. What are we doing here? On the one hand, we have the Prime Minister of India in Moscow today. The whole world is looking at the leadership of India, the possibility that Narendra Modi will play a role in resolving the Ukraine conflict. What are we doing here? A man who's an MP has called for a separate Sikh state. He has said he has called for violence. He has violated his oath. And Ramnik Man, we are playing passing the parcel on Republic.
But it is a president. Simranjit Singh Man continued saying it, and we tolerated it. The Punjab government tolerated it. The Union government tolerated it.
Simranjit Singh Man.
It is not about only Amritpal. It is about Engineer Rashid in Kashmir. It is about Simranjit Singh Man in Punjab. It is about Sarabjit Singh, and it is also about Amritpal and 9 other people who asked for Khalistan, and they were allowed to fight an election on an Indian ticket.
Who's allowing it?
After fighting an election, now they are asking for Khalistan. Who allowed them to be fighting for an election? It is the central government who has allowed. Previously also there have been many instances where the central government has stopped these type of goons and terrorists to fight elections, not only in Kashmir but also in Punjab. After 1984 also it happened. But this time under the eye of our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, it is happening that terrorists are getting tickets and terrorists are fighting elections, terrorists are winning with the maximum number of votes in Punjab, and today a terrorist has gone to the parliament.
So why are we complaining? Throw him out! Throw him out! Throw him out, I say, throw him out! We want to be a strong state. We want to be a state that is intolerant to people who are treasonous and disloyal to the country. And if people are disloyal to the country, I cannot have them as MPs. Let there be a public campaign on this. I'm sorry, Surinder Singh Laliji, I'm convinced that no political party will touch this issue because all political parties are soft on these fringe elements.
Yeah, because if they want votes, end of the day, they
want
negotiate
votes.
the interest of the nation at the cost of, and you know, Punjab, there is no rocket science to know the way Punjab has been disturbed. Punjab is a border state, China controls Pakistan's proxy, and Punjab already has a drug problem, so there is so much happening in Punjab.
I need it fast.
We're playing with fire. I mean, this could be fire because of the drug issue and other unemployed people. There could be a fertile ground for another, you know, Punjab problem to happen. I don't know why nobody's smelling the coffee here.
Arnab, I want to make a point here. I mean, a speaker before me said that the Punjab problem was the outcome of Congress. Sir, you are so ill-informed. If you're talking of Sant Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale, he was given the baton.
Sir, please let me tell you, he was built up by Indira Gandhi. No, please don't fool yourself. He was built up by Indira Gandhi.
He was not a
that was the biggest mistake. The biggest mistake of Indira Gandhi was to build up Bhindranwale as some kind of a strategic asset. Please, sir, everybody knows it.
Kamalnath used to pay, and he gave it was Sachkhand Harmandir Sahab,
which was involved very much
of Babbar Khan Sahab. He did not come because Golden Temple because of any other thing. He came because he was scared of Babbar Khalsa.
You remember? What about the role of Shiromani Akali Dal? Why are you simply giving it a clean hit?
Shiromani
Akali Dal was your alliance partner.
Are equally responsible for this menace.
No, so Shiromani Akali Dal was your alliance partner.
They are equally responsible.
If you are talking about the nationalist agenda, if you are so much particular about nationalist sentiment,
no, I think that
why did you form an alliance with Shiromani Akali Dal?
All the 10 gurus came from Punjabi Khatri families, and today Punjabi Khatris do not have a say in the SGPC. It is one particular community.
I think it is one of those moments I'll tell you this. The man is actually a coward, Amritpal. You can see his cowardice. We sent a reporter once when he was coming out of the private army. He was coming out of the Golden Temple. We asked him a question and he started abusing the Indian state. He said India does not exist. It's a British creation. It was never there. I don't believe in India. And he swore to break the state. And he's a devious man. He is an asset of Pakistan. And I think we've been too tolerant with him. And viewers, I know a lot of you are calling tonight. I'm going to keep up the pressure on this. And I want you to remember, when no political party takes a stand, when all political parties, Surinder Singh Lalli, I don't want to say something, I'm coming to you, but I remind you viewers, when all political parties fail, it is only and only Republic which puts the pressure in the right direction. Surinder Singh Lalli, last word to you tonight.
Arnab, France, Belgium, Sweden,
Canada.
Canada. I mean, Canada is still more active a player, but under Vauquerie, these people didn't make the right noises, and there was riots yesterday in Paris when the result came out. When the projections came out.
But that is.
So I think these are pre-case studies that we can learn from.
There are enough case studies, Mr. Lalli. I'll tell you this. In Canada, where these Khalistanis get support from, if you make threats to the Canadian state, you will be expelled within seconds from Parliament. This is Section 18 of the Constitution Act 1867. And it's also in the United Kingdom. United Kingdom and Canada allow these Khalistanis. They would never allow it, Mr. Lalli, on their own soil against their own country.
Arnab, allow me to give you another unscientific case study. Pannu makes an open threat to Air India. Air India is a star alliance with 25 or 26 airlines in it, in which you have, American Airlines too. Why is the American state quiet on it? Because there is a court sale. There could be Americans, Canadians, Singapore Airlines, Air Canada. They're traveling on it. I mean, if I was to even move in a devious manner...
Sir, 31 senators, Ms. Surinderji, we need to think, what are we becoming? We want to be a strong state. Political parties are failing us. BJP should speak up on it. BJP should have a full press conference on this. In America, 31 senators have been kicked out when they have been treasonous and disloyal to the country. The whole country is watching tonight how political parties are failing us on Amritpal. But ladies and gentlemen, we will continue to pile on the pressure. I have breaking news tonight on the unfortunate incident that's happened in Kathua, where we have had another attack, ladies and gentlemen, on a Indian Army vehicle. Around 3:30 p.m. this has happened. This has been attacked by terrorists in Kathua's Machedi area. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, there have been casualties. And Shravan brings us more from the newsroom, and then we'll talk more about this. Shravan, tell me the entire sequence of events, what's happened, which part of Kathua is it in, and was it a single vehicle or was it part of a convoy?
Well, in fact, the incident took place around 3:30 this afternoon, and this is at Kathua border, which is bordering Udhampur district, is what we are picking up. The vehicle was part of the 22 Garhwal unit. In fact, it was the 2.5-ton military vehicle that was used. We are being told, Arnab, that 10 army personnel were part of, was in this vehicle.
What is that video we are playing tonight? I just want to be clear about it. You can see, what is that video?
Well, in fact, Arnab, these are images of the vehicle moving in earlier. In fact, this was in the ridgeline, what you're seeing right now on your screens, closer to the Udhampur border area, when the grenade was actually lobbed, and roughly around 3:35 in the afternoon when the encounter broke out. You've had the Rashtriya Rifles also being present there carrying out the encounter. As of now, what we are picking up is that 4 army personnel were killed in action. 6 are injured is what we are being told.
And, this particular incident which has happened in Kathua, a few more details also with us tonight. Viewers, Shravan Sen is with us on the breaking news story, and it only came to our newsrooms about 15 minutes back, the casualty numbers. Shravan, we just got the casualty numbers of this particular incident, and I don't want to draw a link between things, but it appears that it has been timed with the visit of the Prime Minister to Moscow, and the last major terrorist attack was timed with the day and exact moment of his swearing in. So, it's not something that will be lost on our viewers tonight.
Well, in fact, Arnab, there is a pattern that has emerged, and if you look at the area where these sightings have actually taken place of terrorists, this is particularly closer to the Doda region. And in fact, this ridgeline that you're seeing right now on your screens, this is the ridgeline which goes into Doda district. That is also another place where there have been multiple sightings of terrorists that have taken place, and infiltration particularly has been on the rise in this very area. And if you go by the estimates that have been made by the intelligence agencies, and particularly the Indian Army, they're largely looking at the very fact that, one, they've been unable to carry out any attack in the valley. That is the reason why the focus has been shifted to the Punj, Rajouri district areas where this attack has taken place. And more importantly, they haven't been able to take it forward into the hinterland.
In this case, additional troops were airdropped at the ops site. There is a picture on the screen sometime back with a red circle dot. Can you tell us what we are looking at? Can you just describe the visuals that we are seeing, including the still picture with the red circle dot, so that viewers get a sense? And also, Shravan, if you can tell us more about the group that is involved here and the evidence that points in the direction of that group, the Jaish.
Well, in fact, the circled item that you see right now on the screen, Zordab, is the vehicle that was being used by the army personnel, and this was the very vehicle that was attacked when a grenade was lobbed, is what we are being told. In fact, we have done multiple checks with regards to what's really the present situation on the ground. In fact, these are deferred images that we have already played out. Just to take you through the exact timeline, in fact, this is reported around 3:30 this afternoon. The encounter thereafter broke out around 3:35. Additional forces were brought in roughly about within 25 minutes is what we are being told. The special forces were also brought in. 7:30 in the evening when we are given to understand that they were not able, they had lost sight of the terrorists who were on the move. In fact, that's the latest that we have picked up so far. As far as the group that is behind, it's Jaish-e-Mohammed. Remember, Jaish has been behind the attacks that have taken place in the last few weeks.
What is the imprint of the Jaish hand on this? Sorry.
Well, in fact, as far as the sightings are concerned, particularly in this very area, agencies as well as the Indian Army suspect that Jaish has been behind it is only because of the modus operandi. And the fact that they have been operating in a group of roughly about 4 to 6, the sightings have taken place in this very area. Riyasi is the other place too. That's why they essentially suspect that Jaish is behind the attack.
I understand. Now, viewers, this is the breaking news story that Shravan is live on today. Indian Army vehicle which has been attacked by terrorists in Kathua's Machedi area. There have been Jaish-e-Mohammed sightings in that area. The encounter broke out at 3:30 between terrorists and security forces. At 4 o'clock, the additional forces were airdropped at the op site. We are told about 7:30 p.m. the terrorists escaped, taking advantage of the darkness. And my last question before I go to the Indo-Pak debate to Shravan tonight is, what is the difference between, the LOC and this particular area? Because we've seen this happening a couple of times. Right now, the first time when the Prime Minister was being sworn in, that night there was an attack. And now, what is the distance between this area and the LOC? I mean, how far would they have to travel to get on to the other side?
Extremely challenging is because of the dense foliage in this very area. If you compare it to the LOC and particularly in the valley, it's far more different. And in terms of the travel time, roughly about 5 to 7 kilometers that you're really looking at, because of the dense foliage and the fact that they've been able to create a base, that is the reason why it becomes far more challenging for the security forces to carry out a sustained encounter. The latest that we got here was about 7:30 this evening when they lost the sighting of the terrorists who were on the move.
Yes.
So it's far more different. It's far different than the grid that operates in the valley, particularly the topography being completely different.
Major Yasir Janjua is with us tonight. General Bakshi joins us tonight. General Bakshi and Major Yasir Janjua, this new tactic of operating within an area, within a less than 10-kilometer zone of the LOC, carrying out a specific attack and then escaping by cover of darkness. And the attacks also happen between, say, 4 o'clock and 6:30, which allows basic visibility for the attack and, moving away the moment darkness falls in that area. Major Janjua, what kind of a Pakistan military tactic is this, please? Can you tell us? Because you have been requesting India for financial help to open up trade. You've been saying we are not in a good situation, we need to work together, but then you have this strategy. So what is your end game here?
Arnab, it reminds me of a statement of General G.D. Bakshi, which he gave a few programs ago or many months ago, when he said, and he would remember the statement, chickens have come home to roost. So when terrorist actions take place in Pakistan, General G.D. Bakshi was saying, it's your own homegrown terrorists who have come to roost. So what I'm saying is, I am impressed by the level of understanding and intelligence of intelligence agencies and Indian Army, that within 15 minutes of the attack, you can find out that this was Jaish-e-Mohammed doing. But unfortunately for you, you cannot preempt these attacks. So if you can be very smart in finding out after the attack, you should probably be able to preempt these attacks as well.
Yeah, we'll preempt the attacks. One minute. Thank you for your introductory remarks. General Bakshi, I'm sure you heard them. The only way to preempt the attacks now, Major Janjua, is by catching you by the scruff of your neck, slapping you on both sides and hammering you down like the Americans did, and you watch like cowards when they came into your soil and picked up your pet Osama bin Laden. That is the language that you Pakistanis, that is the language that you Pakistanis understand. You see, you're like mosquitoes. You're pests.
Just like we did
you can't be swatted away. You have to be crushed and made to bleed. And General Bakshi, I'm sure will respond to you tonight. But I've seen this growing tactic, General Bakshi. The cowards that the Pakistanis are, they come across, they will carry out some kind of an engagement and run away after that. The moment they are cornered. General Bakshi, I'm also concerned about the timing of this. In the middle of the Modi-Putin summit meeting that's happening in Moscow. General Bakshi.
Arnab, you know, some people do not really understand till they are spoken to in a language that is their natural lingua franca. This country needs to be kicked. This country is hovering on the brink of economic meltdown and collapse. Their leaders, their civilian leadership is going around begging for talks, begging for dialogue, begging for resumption of peace parleys, and their military and the ISI in a typical mutt and jup, you know, kind of a fashion. Asim Nawaz Saab jo hai, unke Asim Munir Saab, their General Saab, is, you know, trying to show that he is spoiling for a fight. Well, you will get one. We'll give it to you.
That's the point.
And let me assure you that even a limited
they should get one.
Bakshi Saab, aaye na. We invite you. Come over. Ye badke marne se kaam nahi chalega.
We heard the same come over from Yahya Khan and Nawaz Sharif. We heard the same when he was bloody drunk and talking on Pakistan
on the visuals
television.
Yes.
I will be on the front marching and this and that.
Also,
you know, we have seen how your people were battered.
Yes, you said this in 65 as well. That we'll have breakfast in Shalimar Gardens. We remember that.
Shalimar Gardens. I mean, you are a twerp, man. I won't waste my time talking to you because you know nothing. You know nothing.
Yeah,
you didn't see the way your country was broken into two pieces, all right? And then आपकी जो औरतें थी अपनी चूड़ियां लेकर भुट्टो साहब के सामने रो रही थी कि हमारे मर्द वापस लाओ 93,000 कैदी थे तुम्हारे
वर्सेस टॉप एंड मिडिल
बख्शी साहब
मेजर झंझुआ 93,000 कैदी थे आप कल पैदा हुए हो डोंट टीच अस हाउ टू फाइट डोंट टीच अस यू हैवंट heard a shot fired in anger you are an armchair strategist you haven't heard you tell me which corps are you from how much combat experience have you had what is your combat experience you
Bakshi Saab,
you are a twerp, man. I don't waste time talking to a two-penny guy who hasn't heard a shot fired in anger. You think I'll be provoked by your
Bakshi Saab, let me
kuch nahi.
Let me tell you
are
your
going
own
to get it in the neck because you are asking for it.
Yes.
You are asking for it. And I'm just telling you one little piece of advice. The government has been very patient, very considerate with you. They thought you would still come around. But when you aren't coming around, I think we know what to do now with you. We know exactly what to do with you. One limited war. और तुम्हारे मुल्क की इकोनॉमी तबाह हो जाएगी 2 रोज की रोटी नहीं मिल रही तुम्हारे बंदों को
1 versus 2
रोज की रोटी ही आपके बंदों को नहीं मिल रही
General Bakshi on one side
का खाना कहाँ से आएगा बिजली का बिल कहाँ से पे होगा तुम हमसे लड़के उसके बाद तुम्हारी इकोनॉमी ब्लूम करेगी
Try your luck.
You are asking for it and you will get it in the neck. And I don't waste time talking to a young twerp who hasn't heard a shot fired in anger. You haven't heard a damn shot fired in anger. Grow up first, learn some military, get some military experience on hand, combat experience. And then talk to combat veterans. Okay?
Let me remind
then talk
you,
to combat veterans. There are two of us on this program.
I just say one thing here. General Bakshi, 1 minute. 1 minute, please.
Yeah.
The important point is that this is 2 attacks against the Indian Army in the Jammu area in the last 48 hours. Ladies and gentlemen, Republic believes, and as the largest Indian news network, we believe that the government should hit hard. घर में घुसने वाली बात ही नहीं होनी चाहिए, करना भी चाहिए अभी. An army camp in the Rajouri district came under attack on Sunday. There was one wounded soldier. And this trend must be met with a disproportionate response. That is my view. I believe that the Pakistanis are testing the will of Modi 3.0 government. That's what is happening, General Bakshi. We have Ajit Doval as our national security advisor, and we have Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And if they want to keep doing this pesky kind of behavior, it is time, General Bakshi, that we should just strike them in a clear way, in a forceful and repeated pattern. And I believe we should go deeper than we did the last time. And we should have visual evidence of what we've done. And we should shoot to kill. It should not be a limited surgical strike. It should be a strike so pointed that it has long-term consequences on Pakistan. And it should be a strike that should be overt and one which we exhibit to the world. We should not care for what happens next. And let it be clear, General Bakshi, you are a wargaming expert. No China will come to their aid. If you understand what we are doing with the Russians, we have a bulwark on each side. We have our strategy clear. General Bakshi has been saying for the longest time, this is our moment. Otherwise, this will keep happening with these Pakistanis. General Bakshi, we are ready.
You know, Arnab, in the 1971 war, when nobody wanted to get into East Pakistan, General Niazi volunteered to be the army commander there. And when he got there, he was under hubris. He said, I am going to launch a series of preemptive attacks across the border into India. He gave us just the right pretext, you know, and then we countered. We shot down 4 of their aircraft. Our tanks went into the Bogra Bulge, and Yahya Khan Saab was provoked. And he, in a drunken stupor, he gave a speech. I will not be in Islamabad. I will be on the battlefields tomorrow. And then on the 3rd of December 1971, the Pakistani Air Force launched a preemptive, devastating kind of they thought, Israeli-style preemptive strike.
Yes, list.
This was just the excuse that the Indian Republic needed to hit back, and hit back so hard that in 13 days, our 3 core pincers went 550 kilometers inside East Pakistan, captured the capital city of Dhaka, 93,000 prisoners of war surrendered, and we changed the map of South Asia. I think what they need
But change the map of Pakistan, it's within our reach. It is within our reach. It is within the opportunity. I am also joined by General Bishambar Dayal on this very serious discussion, General Dayal, that we are now having, because there have been a number of attacks in the Rajouri area earlier. Army camp in Rajouri district came under attack on Sunday, that is yesterday. And just today in Kathua's Machedi area, Indian Army vehicle attacked. We have had 4 casualties on our side. And the terrorists have escaped the moment under cover of darkness. There is a conversation going on, General Bishambar Dayal. Major Janjua from Pakistan is on the other side as well, on what our strategy should be. It can't just be multifaceted internal. We have to strike across. What's your take?
Anna, actually in last 25 days, this is, I think, the 4th event or 5th event south of Pir Punjab, right? And this is across, it hurts us, there's no doubt about it. They've done it in an area which is actually, it is not too far from Punjab border. This one, this debate. Not too far from the IB. They've done across the IB. So Anna, I really do not know, me and General Bakshi, for last 6 years actually, have been, last time when it happened, whatever happened in Pulwama, we were of the very firm view that these surgical strikes will not help our cause. It is known in the global, it is known to everybody that this entire war has been raised by the Pakistani army, but by the Pakistani ISI. We do not need any proof. The nation does not need any proof. And I'm also of the firm opinion that it will not be correct for us to keep getting bleeded and leave this problem to the next generation. I'm firmly of the opinion that over the last 12, not last 12 months, last 3 years or so, Pakistani economy is in shambles. Pakistani polity is in shambles. They are not a cohesive nation. Their ISI and their army has got some funds now, maybe from the Americans on the garb of other support which they may be providing. But Arnab, this is the time to strike properly. Okay. Strike properly when I say I am not one of those who is of the view that you strike somewhere deep or anywhere. No, we have a LAC, we have a LC, we have the IB. Let's start demolishing their LC completely. That's our territory. No, the entire POK is ours. And if we believe POK is ours, it is time to take it back. Take 5 kilometers, next 10, 12, 15, 20.
Exactly.
Let's lead them completely. Why are we, whom are we waiting for? I'm waiting from
What would they do in any case, General Dayal? I think you and
Arnab Goswami, these empty slogans will not take you anywhere.
And the world watches.
Slogans of television.
This is not a slogan. No. 1 minute. But General Dayal, Major Janjua, 1 minute. Listen to General Dayal. There is conviction here.
Modi is swearing in. You guys were saying, oh, Prime Minister has called in the cabinet meeting and we are going to take action. I invite you.
Listen, there is nothing.
Try your luck.
Stop it. You guys can't handle your...
You are miserable.
The only thing Pakistan can do is such cowardly acts. They cannot handle anything with Talibanis. Leave aside our regular armed forces. You can't handle military in your own backyard.
Just 5 years ago,
Major Janjua, the point being made is correct. Major Janjua, you cannot listen to me. 1 minute. Major Janjua, 1 minute. Major Janjua.
Major Janjua, I'm not making between you and me. Believe me, to me, you doesn't exist.
I'm challenging you.
I don't know
you cowards.
You
cowards, I'm challenging you. Just don't make these empty slogans here on television.
There is no empty slogan here. Major Janjua, be real. I'll get General Bakshi because Bishambar Dayal's line. 1 minute. Major Janjua, there is no empty slogan here. Let me tell you,
yes,
sir,
the
two generals on the Indian side. 1 minute, sir. The two generals on the Indian side are two gentlemen with heavy combat experience. Let me tell you, General Dayal and General Bakshi particularly have heavy combat experience. They are very realistic people. I'm saying General Bakshi, what stops us from going? General Dayal says, go 5 to 10 kilometers into POK. Have a policy of creeping acquisition. Make them bleed, make them suffer each time they move in.
Try your luck. I'm challenging you.
There's no luck. Luck is on our side. There's no luck on your side.
Listen.
Otherwise, we'll keep bleeding like this.
That intimidation and people from the, who have never heard a shot in anger, who stay back in Islamabad and Rawalpindi while their infantry and other arms fight up on the border, they talk the loudest. So, I mean, this man is too junior.
Who's talking the loudest?
I won't waste my breath.
Both are.
But I'm
alone enough for you.
One second.
I'm closing enough for you.
Listen to me.
By the way,
I'm telling you that through you, please convey a message to your people. The Indian government has long been talking of taking back POK, which is ours. You are giving us the precise locus standi, the precise excuse, the precise pretext we need to do that.
Yeah.
We will have to thank you.
I'm giving you an open challenge.
Short-sighted.
Just don't sit here. Just don't sit here and make empty slogans. Try your luck.
Well, you got something serious coming, boy. You won't have long to wait. You won't have long to wait. Will you escape the first time around? Well, this is the second time around that you've done it, and you are asking for it. And just by the way, ask your people what happened on the line of control last night.
We will teach you a lesson.
No, are you aware what happened on the line of control last night? When one of your infiltrating columns was trying to come across, and the two Pakistani posts got blasted. That was less than a trailer. You got something coming your way, boy. The Indian army prepares and fights. You know, we just don't rush in like fools. You know, we don't rush in like fools.
General Bakshi, you have information there. I want you to share more details of. General Bakshi, it appears to me tonight and to our viewers tonight that General Bakshi and General Bishambar Dayal, two men with heavy combat experience, total realists, let me tell you, none of these two men deliver more and do little. You should see at their record, their track record of both these men. Which is why when they speak, India listens. But General Bakshi and General Dayal, you have some information of what happened at the LOC. General Bakshi has a better audio line. Can you tell us more what happened, sir?
Last night, Arnab, there was an infiltration attempt on the LOC in the Rajouri Poonch sector. Our people not only shut up those people infiltrating, but the two Pakistani posts from which the infiltration was taking place were devastated. झंझुआ साहब जरा पूछ लीजिए, आपकी फौज बहुत कुछ छुपाती है, समझ गए? अभी तो ट्रेलर है साहब. You have a death wish, we will give it to you. You just wait and watch, boy. We prepared 8 months. You know, Sam was asked to go in the month of March 71. He told, Madam, I'd like to do it properly, in a way that this country will remember for the next 100 years. He waited 8 months, prepared 8 months, set the stage, and then went in 13 days. We finished that pack of cards that you had, your Eastern Command, in Bangladesh. Boy, go and read some. Go and read some military history, old chap. Go and read some military history. You are a boy. You know, both of us, I mean, would not actually like to deign and come down to your level to debate. If there was some Pakistani general...
But delivered by General Bakshi, ladies and gentlemen, to Major Kathua. And we got some information of what happened in the LOC, and we are fully in line. I believe that Narendra Modi will strike, the Indian Army will strike, and there will be a massive one this time. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank both our generals tonight for put that perspective, and also Major Janjua. And in a few moments from now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will arrive at the Kremlin for his official state dinner. We have pictures right now, full frame of his state dinner with Russian President Vladimir Putin. And the way I see it, and I want to run this over visuals, is that this visit of the Prime Minister, over visuals please, this visit of the Prime Minister to Moscow must not be seen as a mere formality. Can we run some of the pictures, please, producers? This visit is not a formality. Let's run the correct pictures, please, viewers. Thank you. This is a statement of India's global rise as an independent global power. Today, Narendra Modi and Vladimir Putin are two of the longest serving heads of state globally. Putin has been in power for over 24 years and will remain for 6 more. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been in power for 10 years and has just been elected for another 5-year term. These two very experienced statesmen know exactly what they are doing when they meet tonight. And let me tell you, this visit will have global implications. There'll be serious rounds of talks to deepen the long-standing, mutually respectful bilateral ties. And what the world is taking note of, each single development. The way I see it, this visit has 2 major implications. It's a message to the world that a new world order is taking shape. Secondly, it's a message to the United States to stop being a bully. Thirdly, it is proof of the enduring India-Russia relationship. Fourth, it's a meeting of equals. Fifth, ladies and gentlemen, 2 countries who've worked very closely together after what happened in Ukraine. And lastly, let me tell you, after this visit, you will see a new dimension. We see Prime Minister Narendra Modi playing a role in diffusing the global crisis in Ukraine. My prediction is that's going to happen over the next 6 months. I'll see you on the other side. We have a live broadcast with Russia Today and Republic.
Arnab will be right back with the debate.
कंफर्मेशन के हिसाब से दो अलग अलग इनकाउंटर साइट्स पे इनकाउंटर्स हुए हैं। बॉडी की कंफर्मेशन के हिसाब से 6 आतंकियों का मारे जाने का खबर है। जी जी
सर, कितनी बड़ी सफलता है ये सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस के लिए, क्योंकि काफी चल रहा था पिछले दिनों से इंटेलिजेंस इनपुट की संदा से जम्मू में कुछ टेरर अटैक्स हुए थे और लगातार उसके बाद ऑपरेशंस आपने शुरू किए। डोडा में 4 टेररिस्ट मारे गए, उसके बाद बारामूला में और अब साउथ कश्मीर के कुलगाम में।
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Ladies and gentlemen, on a Republic Media Network and Russia Today live broadcast, we have Sucharita Kukreti, Republic's senior editor and senior anchor, who is joining us from Moscow, and with her we have Saskia Taylor of Russia Today, senior journalist and news anchor. And Sucharita, you've been doing a great job all through the day. With me in the studios, of course, is Abhishek. We're all watching this closely, Abhishek and Shawan, and we're all very excited about tomorrow's visit. And I think the itinerary really rolls out tomorrow, but there are some events that are rolling out today as well. So first of all, between you and Saskia, if you can give us a sense of what the lineup is, and we'd also like to get a sense from Saskia on what the significance of this visit is from a Russian perspective. Over to you, Sucharita.
Absolutely, Arnab, and I would like to tell our viewers that two very, very important networks from India and Russia are collaborating for this very special broadcast from Moscow. And Saskia joins me on this broadcast, and she has been telling the Russian viewers about the Russian perspective to this visit. They've also been discussing the Indian perspective to this visit. And Saskia, you've been talking to your viewers. We are showing it to the Indian viewers what it really means for Narendra Modi, the Indian Prime Minister, to be here in Russia and to be meeting President Putin. But I would like to ask you, how is the Kremlin really watching this visit by the Indian Prime Minister? Because it is his third tenure, and he's chosen Russia to be the first country for a bilateral visit, Saskia. So how is the Russian administration really viewing this, Saskia?
Well, look, obviously on a political level, it's very significant that we are the chosen ones, that Moscow is the destination for this first bilateral visit, like you said, since Modi was re-elected to a third term in June. And although obviously that is incredibly special, I think we also need to understand this in the wider context. And the wider context is that India and Russia have endured one of the longest standing and time-tested, not just friendships, but also partnerships. This dates all the way back to the Soviet Union. And what's so unique about this particular alliance is that it really is along almost every single line. You know, I talk obviously a lot about geopolitics and about politics, but when it comes to the Russo-Indian relationship, you see that really they cover every field in a way that really no other relationship does. Space, nuclear energy, energy security, defense a pillar, cultural and educational exchange. And when we look at how this has progressed over the last last few decades, it's showed that really it's been incredibly stable, that even amidst global changes, potentially conflicts, and that's not to say that it's a perfect partnership. Like every partnership, there are going to be issues that need to be worked out. But what I think really marks this particular relationship is their ability to be rational, for their ability to maintain dialogue, and their ability to remember that, look, we had a very good history for a very long time. Let's continue cooperating for as long as it's mutually beneficial and we're working in each other's national interests.
So, Saskia, I would like to tell our viewers back home in India that you're watching the Moscow skyline right behind us. And in one of those buildings, soon the private dinner between President Putin and the Indian Prime Minister takes place. Arnab was asking me about the itinerary to the Prime Minister's visit. That private dinner, which is going to be held today, it's going to be a one-on-one conversation. And we know that a lot of issues that have not finalized for bilaterals actually they actually seem to be happening over these meetings, which are informal meetings, and that is taking place today. But let us just give them a sense of tomorrow's events, because it's going to be bilateral meetings. But before that, a community event. We've been telling the viewers about that. But Saskia, you spoke about a mutual trust between India and China. What I really want to ask you is, there is another